I was 6 years old, I begged my parents to take me fishing. No one knows where I got it from, if it was TV or from talking to somebody, but either way, regardless, I had to go. My parents ended up finally caving in. They called my grandfather up on the phone and said, "We got to take this girl fishing. She's not taking no for an answer, and it's just got to be done." So we grabbed some little kiddie fishing rods and reels from the local grocery store or Walmart or something and took off for a local pond, and I caught my first sunfish. So after that, I was absolutely hooked. There was no turning back. So at 16, I went and got my own fishing rod, got my brother one, and he's a couple years younger than me, so I took him fishing, took him to the local ponds, lakes, wherever we could go where there's fish and we thought we might catch them, and just kind of learned as we went. Through the years, I've fished with other people, my father-in-law, just different friends that I've met, and picked up different techniques from them, and watched TV, watched different shows, and learned from them, researched on the internet, found even more details of different ways to fish, different techniques, little things you could do with different baits and things like that, and just got on the water and tried it and had success, and just keeps me going more and more and more, and just makes me want to get out there every chance I get. So that's what I do. I have some things here to kind of show you what gets me excited about fishing. There's so many different things on the market nowadays, which you guys all know, and that makes it exciting for us. There's always the old good tried and true crankbaits, your plastic worms, things like that, that always work, and I use them quite often actually. Also, you know, the new things that come on the market, you know, the Gope Alive, not to plug anything or anything, but it is a great product, so that's why I talk about it. Also, just the different things that get me excited and that just keep me going in fishing and make me want more and more and more. One of the best things I love about fishing is that it's not something that you just go and do. You don't just get up one day and say, "I'm going to go fishing." There's so much more to it than that. When I know I'm going to go fishing, for instance, I'm fishing tomorrow, and I know I'm going, I know what I'm targeting, I got to think about, okay, what fish am I going to go after, what am I going to use, where am I fishing, and all those things, they're constantly going in my mind when I'm at work, when I'm driving, and that's another great aspect about fishing. I mean, it's always on your mind. When you have that passion for it and you love it like I do, and so many of you do, it's just constantly on your mind. I dream about it. Like I said, I drive to work and I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to hit the river tomorrow, and the other day, 2 days ago, I was out there on the river, and I'm going to hit a different spot this time, but I used a little plastic. It was a little blue and silver kind of speckled plastic with a long tail on it that had a lot of action. And I threw that on a little jig and tossed it out there and kind of jigged it a little bit and caught a bunch of fish. So this time, that trip, I just had to get a fish. You know, you go out there sometimes and you had a bad day, or, you know, whatever the case may be, but you just really have to catch a fish that day. So I knew that would work. I got out there, I used it, and I caught fish. Now tomorrow, it's a little different. I'm not, you know, I don't have to have that bite. I want that bite. I always want that bite, but tomorrow's going to be more experimenting, seeing what else they want. So I might bring, you know, a smaller little crankbait to see if they're getting a little bit more hungry, and, you know, we'll go after something a little bit faster. I'll try slow rolling it, or, you know, something like that. I'll probably use more of a natural pattern. Also, I'll probably bring just different plastics, different colors to see if they work. You know, that's another thing that I love about fishing is depending on what your mood is, that's what you do. There's times I bring one lure to the river and I say, I've never caught a fish on this lure, I'm going to catch a fish on this lure, and I go down there with it, and that's all I'll throw. It takes me a week, I'm going to catch a fish with that lure. And I learned so much just by doing that. I watched a show on TV one time, and it was like this light bulb just went off in my brain. I was like, wow, that's huge. They had, I forgot what show it was, but they had a chatterbait, and they took what did he take? He took like some type of metal instrument, like I don't know, like something like to shave something down, and he just kind of shaved little niches in it. So when it would spin in the water, it would spin like do that chatter buzz, and then it would click, and then that buzz, and then it would click. And I thought, that's one of those things that you're like, aha, you know, it's like, wow, that'll work, you know, I'm going to try that. Because every time we've all been there, we'll be on a boat, or we'll be on shore, and our buddy's using something, and he's catching fish. Fish after fish after fish. So, of course, what are you going to do? You're going to put on the same thing. You're going to try to exactly do what he's doing. That's one of those things that if you just do that little bit, little nicks in that mechanism that turns, nobody knows what you did. That guy next to you is driving crazy because he can't figure out what you're doing different, and it was something so simple. So I love that part of fishing. I'm never afraid to try something different. I have my own paints. I'll paint my lures. I'll throw a chartreuse coating over, say just a regular silver perch bait. I'll give it a full orange belly instead of a half orange belly. There's, like I said, there's so many different aspects of fishing. There's so many things that you could do with it. As far as favorite things on the water, favorite times on the water when I've been fishing, there's one story that comes to mind. It was December 12th, 2009. We went up to Wisconsin, took the boat. We got 10 inches of snow, I believe it was, the day before. It was still snowing when we were driving up there. We didn't know if we'd get on the lake. It was one of those, late ice situations. It was, late fall. Ice is going to form any minute. There was already ice. We've been breaking ice probably the last 3 weeks before that day when we were getting out there. So we kind of drove up there with not knowing, driving an hour, well, maybe we'll get on the lake, it's worth a try. So we get up there, we hit all the launches to the lake, all just locked out, solid ice. We finally get around to the last launch and it's wide open. It was wonderful. We see that wide open water, we didn't care, we were getting that boat in the water. So we get the boat in the water, the motor won't start. And so we use a trolling motor and we head over to the one bay. And we were just catching fish after fish after fish. We were catching big walleye, big muskie, big pike. It was all on crankbaits. We're just using, medium diver crankbaits. One not too different than this one here, if I can get it loose here. A lot of natural patterns are really good that time of year. Just a craw, we use perch, we use bluegill. But we get out there and we're just cranking it down and we're just ripping it and stopping it, ripping it and stopping it, and it was just insane. The fish were just on fire. They were all fat, 7.5, 8-pound walleye. Pike were, I don't think we caught one under 36 inches. It was amazing. I look over, and there's all these geese on the ice on the bay, and I got a few shots of that. It was beautiful. I didn't know whether to take my camera out or, I didn't want to put my rod down, but I had to get these shots of these beautiful scenes too. Another great aspect of fishing, the beautiful scenery. So I look over to see these geese on the ice, and there's these guys, they're ice fishing in the bay. I mean, these guys are drilling holes with augers. They got a tip-up set up. We're in a boat. They're looking at us like we're crazy. We're looking at them like they're nuts. I don't know which one was crazier, but they were catching fish and we were catching fish. So it was a fantastic time on the water. One of those days that I'll never forget. Another one that I'll never forget. When I fished with Hank Parker, I fished with him on his show, Hank Parker's Outdoor Magazine, up in Traverse City, Michigan. Awesome day. One of those that goes down in the books as one of the best days ever. We caught so many smallmouth that day. Just the fact that I got to meet Hank Parker and fish with him and just spend the day just, shooting the breeze on the water and catching all those fish besides was just amazing. The weather was bad, but we didn't care. We had a great time. So, again, back to the part where I was saying about just the scenery. I mean, when you're a fisherman, you're up early in the morning typically, if you're a die-hard fisherman. Super early in the morning, before the sun's up, I'm on the water usually. We're usually catching walleye before the sun even comes up. Late fall is my absolute favorite time of the year to fish. They're just so hungry, and it's so great. That impending ice is just unbelievable. But people laugh at me all the time because I struggle with camera, fishing pole, camera, fishing pole. And it's just hard for me because I know those fish are biting, but that sunrise is just so amazing. And the birds are all flying in front of it. it's just gorgeous. And I always feel the need to capture that because you're never going to see the same sunrise twice. You're never going to see the same sunset twice. It's just one of those things that you're just never going to see again. The colors in the sky, they're just never going to be there exactly like they were at that moment. And I love to capture that regardless of how much the guys razz me. I really don't care. But it's, again, fishing, it's just one of those things that it's inside me. It was just born in me. I would love to have a career in fishing one day. Absolutely. I mean, who wouldn't? If you love fishing, that's your dream, to one day make a profession of it. And I breathe it anyway. I mean, I'm constantly out there doing what I love to do. I hit ponds, I hit rivers, I hit lakes, I hit Lake Michigan. Oh, that's another story. Lake Michigan, we fish for, I used to do salmon tournaments out of Winthrop Harbor in Illinois here. And that was fun. It was so great. It was a new learning experience, which I strive for all the time on the water. And, you know, I did that for a few years and kind of just moved to different aspects of fishing, different types of fishing, just constantly wanting to learn. I didn't want to be stuck in just that realm. So we ended up going up to Milwaukee and we went fishing for lake trout. Let me tell you, those lake trout, they're a lot of fun. We went up to Milwaukee, and the way it's set up there, Waukegan, we fish for perch, and you got to go 3 miles out to get to deep water out of Waukegan. But up in Milwaukee, it's a totally different story. You put in right at the bay. You put in, you know, in the marina, and you just go out to the break wall, and there's gaps in the break wall. I'm sure you've probably seen many videos on it. A lot of the big guys on TV have done shows out there. But you fish these gaps, and it's like right outside of the marina, you got 40 foot of water. So, you know, we're dropping down Gulp Alive, and we're just throwing it down to the bottom and just jigging it up 6 inches, dropping it, jigging it up 6 inches, and just bam! I mean, these fish just hit like a Mack truck. I mean, it's crazy. They hit so hard, and then you're fighting them, and your forearm's hurting, and you're just fighting them and fighting them and fighting them, and then all of a sudden they just see the boat and they just take off right back down for the bottom again. And it's just such an amazing bite, and if I could be out there, I'd be out there every day of the week. It's a great bite. It's spring and it's fall, and I struggle in the fall. I never know, do I go there? Do I go up in Wisconsin, you know, lower Wisconsin and fish for the walleye? So fishing is just an amazing sport. It's something that is constantly on your mind. You're constantly looking to improve. None of us know it all. That's another great aspect of it. You can always learn from each other. You can learn from watching other people fish. You can't soak up enough. I mean, internet now, you can look up all these articles and learn more. TV, you can watch all the shows, and you know, even with the internet now, you can go and watch past shows, and that's amazing too. So it is just really an amazing sport that's never ending. The learning curve is just crazy. It's for all ages. You got little kids out there, love to see them on the water. More and more women are starting to come out. I'm seeing them at the fishing shows, and they're interested. They don't know where to start. So it's great. It's great to see that families can do this together, and there's no real stigma as to men, women, children. Everybody can do it. We can all enjoy it. And we're just kind of, you know, it's great that in a lot of ways we're just one big happy family that just love what we're doing, and it just makes us feel good. You know, if I'm, like I said, if I'm having a bad day, it takes me 10 minutes to get the water at the very most. I mean, I could go down there and just grab a pole, which usually there's one in my truck anyway, and just head down to the river, catch some fish, and I feel amazing after that. And so yeah, that's pretty much, I guess, what I have to say about it.